I heard it first as a hum, not of conversation, but of an entire room holding its breath. I was supposed to be the lovesick fool, the big-shot heir of Miller Industries who was obsessed with Isabella Thorne, the Ice Queen CEO who just publicly dumped me at our engagement party. Yeah, that guy. But here's the kicker. I wasn't him. Not anymore. I was Ethan Miller, and I'd just woken up in the body of the biggest simp in this cheesy web novel, the Ice Queen's personal Dragon King. And honestly, this whole getting dumped thing was a blessing. The biggest problem I had was figuring out how to get out of this ridiculous engagement so I could enjoy my new life of chilling out and doing absolutely nothing. Now, the universe was handing it to me on a silver platter. Isabella Thorne, looking stunning in a designer white gown, stood before me. Her flawless face was a mask of cold disdain, her eyes devoid of warmth, filled only with undisguised contempt. "Ethan," she stated, her voice as icy as her demeanor. "Let's call off the engagement." The words sliced through the air, followed by a collective gasp. A murmur rippled through the ballroom, like a swarm of angry bees. My parents, standing nearby, instantly turned a shade of sickly green. According to the plot, this was my cue to lose it. I was supposed to throw a tantrum, demand to know why she was doing this to me, and then get unceremoniously tossed out by her bodyguards, becoming the laughingstock of the entire elite social circle. But this wasn't that Ethan Miller anymore. This was me. I gazed at her "don't even think about touching me" expression, and a delighted grin spread across my face. Call off the engagement? Are you kidding me? This was the best news I'd heard all day. I was racking my brain for a way out of this mess, so I could embrace my new life of blissful semi-retirement. This was just what I needed. I cleared my throat. All eyes were on me, expecting a meltdown. Instead, I offered them my most charming, dazzling smile. "Sounds good to me," I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the stunned silence, echoing through the grand ballroom. For the first time, Isabella's perpetually icy expression flickered. Her pupils contracted ever so slightly, and her lips parted, but no words came out. Ignoring her, I calmly took the microphone from the MC and turned to the dumbfounded guests, bowing slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend what was supposed to be Ms. Thorne's and my engagement party." I paused, letting the implication hang in the air. However, as Ms. Thorne so eloquently put it, after friendly negotiations, we've decided to call off the engagement. I laid extra emphasis on friendly, enjoying the way Isabella's face paled further. Matters of the heart cannot be forced. There's no point in trying to make something work that isn't meant to be. While I, Ethan Miller, may not be the most ambitious man, I certainly don't want to hold Ms. Thorne back from pursuing her grand life and illustrious career. I flashed another smile. From today on, we're free agents. No hard feelings. With that, I set the microphone aside, smoothed the lapels of my tailored suit, and turned to leave. "Ethan, stop right there." My dad's voice thundered, his whole body trembling as he pointed a furious finger at me. "You ungrateful brat. Do you have any idea what you're saying?" I paused, glancing back at him with an unbothered expression. "Dad, I know exactly what I'm saying. I am tired. I'm done being a doormat. From today forward, I'm out of the company. You guys can find whoever you want to run things. I'm officially taking it easy." And with that, I walked out of the ballroom, ignoring the uproar and the countless confused gazes trailing after me. I didn't look back. Stepping out of the hotel and into the crisp city air, I felt an exhilarating sense of freedom. Villain? Simp? To hell with that. I was going home to try my hand at brewing specialty spirits, hitting the gym, exploring every gourmet restaurant this city had to offer, and simply enjoying life. As for the so-called Dragon King and his Ice Queen CEO, they could lock themselves in a tower for all I cared, just as long as they didn't bother me. As long as I didn't actively seek trouble, the Miller family's wealth was more than enough for me to coast through this lifetime and the next. The most important truth in life was to make yourself comfortable. The next day, the news exploded. Miller Industries' air quits, embraces lying flat lifestyle trended across every social media platform. Along with it, rumors of the Thorne CEO publicly breaking off her engagement and the downfall of a high society power coupling were everywhere. My dad nearly had a heart attack, judging by the 800 missed calls from him. I didn't answer a single one. Come on, day one of chilling out meant sleeping in until I naturally woke up. I finally rolled out of bed around noon, threw on some casual clothes, and hopped into my sports car, ready to hunt for lunch. Enjoying life started with a good meal. Based on my previous life's experience as a food blogger, I knew about a new French pastry shop that had just opened on the west side. The head chef was supposedly a genius pastry artist, fresh back from overseas, with incredible skills. Humming a tune, I drove straight there. The shop was small but exquisitely decorated, exuding a warm, inviting charm. The air was thick with the sweet, buttery scent of cream and freshly baked goods. I pushed the door open, and a little bell tinkled merrily. Behind the counter, a figure in a white chef's coat and a tall chef's hat was busy working. She looked up at the sound. The moment our eyes met, I felt a gentle jolt in my chest. She was so pure. Her eyes were wide and clear, like a deer's, innocent and captivating. Her skin was as white as freshly poured milk, and a tiny dusting of white flour adorned her delicate nose, making her look utterly adorable. She seemed momentarily startled to see me, her cheeks quickly flushing a lovely shade of pink. Welcome, she mumbled, her voice soft and sweet. I walked up to the counter, gazing at the tempting array of delicate pastries displayed in the glass case. My stomach growled in anticipation. Owner, I declared grandly, I'll take one of everything you recommend. Her eyes widened slightly in surprise as she stared at me. Just then, a strange hum vibrated in my head, followed by an unfamiliar female voice, tinged with a little excitement. Help! This man is exactly my type. That physique, that face. I want to tackle him. I froze, instinctively glancing around. There was no one else in the shop but us. Where did that voice come from? I looked at the girl in front of me. She was looking down, her fair earlobes crimson, her fingers nervously twisting together, a picture of shy introversion. She certainly didn't seem like the type to harbor such. Feral thoughts. Was I hallucinating? I frowned. Oh no, he's frowning. Does he think I'm weird? What do I do? What should I say? But he's so handsome. Those shoulders, that waist, and that Adam's apple. Gulp. I really want to feel his abs. The voice in my head kept chattering. Me? Okay, I definitely wasn't hallucinating. It seemed I could hear the thoughts of the girl standing right in front of me. What kind of cheat ability was this? A transmigration bonus? I fought to suppress a grin, pretending nothing was amiss. I pointed to a strawberry mousse cake. Is this one good? She nodded vigorously. Why, yes, it's delicious. It's our signature, called First Love. Ah, he's talking to me. His voice is so nice. Like a cello. Oh God, my heart is pounding. He can't hear it, can he? Watching her outwardly shy, demure demeanor contrasting with her inwardly wild, scrolling thoughts, I found her utterly fascinating. Then something clicked. In the original novel, to emphasize the Ice Queen CEO, Isabella Thorne's uniqueness, the author had given Ethan Miller a childhood fiancé. But this so-called fiancé was just a fleeting background character, not even given a name. Her only purpose was to be ruthlessly abandoned by Ethan, highlighting his deep devotion to Isabella. And I remembered that the token of this childhood engagement was a jade pendant engraved with the character Fournien. I instinctively reached for my neck and, sure enough, felt a smooth, cool jade pendant. I pulled it out. It clearly bore the stylized character Nien. I looked back at the girl. Around her neck, too, hung a red string, and I could vaguely make out the outline of a small jade pendant beneath her chef's coat. My heart stirred. I tentatively asked, Miss, what's your name? She answered softly, I'm Lily Davis. Lily Davis. Nien. I looked at the pendant in my hand, then at her. A bold hypothesis formed in my mind. It couldn't be that much of a coincidence, could it? Just then, the voice in my head chimed in again, laced with confusion and shock. Huh, the pendant in his hand. Why does it look exactly like mine? Isn't this the token my mom said was for my future husband? Could it be? Boom! Lily seemed struck by lightning, freezing on the spot. The cake she was packing slipped from her hands and landed on the floor with a splat. She looked up at me, her eyes wide, her expression a riot of disbelief, as if she were staring at an alien. Seeing her reaction, I finally couldn't help but chuckle softly. Interesting. This was very interesting. My relaxed life was shaping up to be more exciting than I'd imagined. After that day, I became a regular at Lily's pastry shop. No, scratch that. I became her only customer. I immediately reserved all her desserts for the next month, under the pretense of I'm exploring gourmet food, and pastries are a crucial part of that. Lily, outwardly flustered, blushingly agreed. But inside, her thoughts were a fireworks display. A monthly reservation. What kind of divine customer is this? Wait, this is my future husband. Is he trying to support me with his wallet? I accept. So my daily routine shifted. Mornings were for hitting the gym and sifting through the you can still make money while chilling out success reports from my overachieving assistant. Afternoons, I made a point to show up at Lily's shop. I'd settle into a window seat, savoring her meticulously crafted desserts, all while enjoying the live commentary from her internal monologue. It was endlessly amusing. Lily was an intriguing girl. On the surface, she was quiet, gentle, and soft-spoken, like a startled bunny. But her inner world was a vast, tumultuous ocean. Today, I made his favorite lavender and honey dream pudding. Haha, I secretly added 2 extra spoonfuls of my grandma's homemade fruit wine. I wonder if he'll like it. He's wearing a white shirt today. His collarbone is so defined. I bet his abs are still there too. I really want to lift his shirt and see. No, Lily, you must be proper. He eats so elegantly, so handsome. I want to have his babies. Ugh, what am I thinking? We're not even married yet. Each time, I'd bite back my laughter, pretending to seriously evaluate her pastries, then offer my professional opinion. Today's pudding has a richer, more mellow hint of fruit wine than yesterday's, and the sweetness is just right. Excellent. Lily's face instantly flared crimson. She'd looked down, nervously picking at her apron. He noticed. He likes it. This is great. My future husband approves of my cooking. Seeing her adorable, contradictory behavior, a corner of my heart softened a little more each time. The time I spent with her was the most relaxed and enjoyable I'd had in both my lives combined. However, just hanging out in the shop, our progress felt a bit slow. So, I decided to make a move. One afternoon, I arrived at the shop as usual, but Lily wasn't there. The cashier told me she wasn't feeling well and had gone home early. My heart tightened. I immediately got her address and drove straight there. Lily lived in a quiet, older neighborhood, and security was pretty strict. I was stopped at the gate, but that wasn't going to deter me. I called my all-purpose assistant, David. 10 minutes later, David called back. Boss, it's done. I bought the apartment next door to hers. The deed will be delivered shortly. Me. Excellent. Truly worthy of my overachieving assistant. His efficiency was unmatched. Armed with the deed, I walked confidently into the complex and found Lily's door. Taking a deep breath, I rang the doorbell. Soon, I heard the shuffle of slippers inside, and the door opened a crack. Lily's small head peeked out. When she saw me, her eyes widened in shock. What are you doing here? She stammered, her cheeks flushed an unnatural red from fever. I waggled the apartment deed in my hand, grinning like a sly fox. New neighbor, just dropping by. And neighbor, he lives next door to me. Is this like a rom-com or something? Am I dreaming? Listening to the storm raging in her mind, my smile only deepened. I heard you're sick. Aren't you going to invite me in? Lily snapped back to reality, fumbling to close the door. And no, my place is a mess. And you're trespassing. I'll call the police. She said she'd call the police, but her hand on the doorknob trembled slightly, and her eyes darted away, unable to meet mine. You want to come in? What do I do? I'm not wearing makeup. My hair is a mess. There are snack bags all over the floor that I didn't have time to put away. This is so embarrassing, but I really want him to come in. I feel so terrible being sick, I want him to hug me. Hearing that last thought, my heart unexpectedly softened. I stopped messing around, put my hand on the door, and with a gentle push, I slipped inside, closing the door behind me. Lily, startled by my sudden move, stumbled back, leaning against the shoe rack, her eyes wide. I took a step closer, slowly, cornering her between me and the shoe rack. I raised my hand and gently pressed the back of it to her forehead. Burning hot. Why didn't you go to the doctor when you have a fever? My voice deepened, tinged with a concern I hadn't realized I felt. Lily stiffened at my sudden closeness, even forgetting to breathe. So close. So close. I can smell him. It's a nice cedar scent. His hand is so cool, so nice. Is he worried about me? Oh God, I'm dying. I'm literally dying right here. Looking at her fever-flushed face and those wide, watery eyes, my Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably. This girl, she was adorably sweet even when sick. Open your mouth, I commanded. Lily looked bewildered. I didn't have the patience to explain. I gently pinched her chin, then administered the fever reducer and warm water I'd prepared directly into her mouth. Lily swallowed the medicine, choked twice, and her eyes welled up. You brute, she accused, though her voice held a hint of subtle grievance and coquettishness. Her reaction only fanned the flames within me. I leaned down, close to her ear, and whispered in a voice only we could hear. Call me that again, and I'll make you mine right here. Boom! Lily's mind exploded. Make me his. He actually said something like that. How shameless. But why do I feel a little excited? I chuckled softly, listening to her chaotic thoughts. Oh, you little rebel. Think I can't handle you? I stopped teasing her, scooping her up in a princess carry. Ignoring her startled gasp and struggles, I strode towards the bedroom. What are you doing? Put me down. You're breaking and entering. I'll sue you, she protested, wriggling in my arms like an annoyed kitten. I gently placed her on the bed and pulled the covers over her. Sue me for what? For taking care of my future wife. That one sentence silenced Lily immediately. She stared at me, too stunned to react. Future wife. He admitted it. He admitted I'm his wife. Well, even though the process was a bit rough, it feels so secure. Max boyfriend points. I'm in love. Satisfied with her self-conquest, I turned and left the bedroom. You stay put. I'll make you something to eat. A short while later, I returned to the bedroom with a steaming bowl of simple chicken and rice soup. Lily looked at me, her eyes filled with a complex expression. You can cook. Oh my God. Handsome, great physique, rich, and now he can even cook. What kind of perfect man is this? Lily, did you save the galaxy in your last life? I placed the soup on the nightstand, scooped a spoonful, blew on it, and offered it to her lips. Open your mouth. This time, Lily didn't resist, opening her mouth obediently. I fed her spoonful by spoonful, and she ate bite by bite. The room was quiet, save for the gentle clinking of the spoon against the bowl. The atmosphere, unexpectedly, felt incredibly cozy. By the time the bowl was empty, Lily's complexion had significantly improved. She looked at me and whispered, "Thank you." I didn't say anything, just reached out and gently wiped a stray grain of rice from the corner of her mouth. The warm touch of my fingertip sent a jolt through me. Lily's body stiffened abruptly. He touched my mouth. Is he going to kiss me? Is he going to kiss me? I'm ready. I watched her tightly closed eyes and trembling lashes, an unspoken invitation. My throat tightened. Damn it. Who could resist that? My rational mind screamed, Ethan, calm down. She's sick. But my instincts propelled me, little by little, closer to her. Just before our lips could meet, my phone, completely out of sync, rang. It was Isabella Thorne. I saw Isabella Thorne on the screen, and my brows instantly furrowed. What did that woman want now? I didn't hesitate. I hung up. However, she didn't seem to give up easily, and the phone rang persistently, again and again. Lily was startled awake by the ringing. She opened her eyes, looking at me somewhat confusedly. Then her gaze fell on my brightly lit phone screen. When she saw the name, her eyes dimmed slightly. Isabella Thorne. That's his ex-fiancée, right? Why is she calling? Does she want to get back together? Well, someone as outstanding as Ms. Thorne is probably the only one who can truly match him. What am I really? Will he answer the phone? Will he go back to her? Listening to her thoughts plummet into dejection, I felt a surge of annoyance. In front of Lily, I dragged Isabella Thorne's number directly into my blocked list. Peace. I tossed my phone aside and looked back at Lily, finding her staring at me with bright, glistening eyes, all traces of disappointment gone. Blocked. He actually blocked her. He blocked his ex-fiancée for me. What kind of fairy tale romance is this? I'm totally shipping it. By my calculations, this basically means he's publicly claimed me. Watching her inner drama unfold so dramatically, I shook my head helplessly. This girl's thought process was truly something else. I leaned down and gently pinched her cheek. What are you overthinking? She's old news. There's nothing to care about. My voice was soft. With me, you're the only leading lady. Lily's face instantly turned as red as a ripe apple. She buried her head in the covers, only her eyes peeking out, too shy to look at me. He said I'm the leading lady. How can he be so good at flirting? My heart's going to burst. I can't take it. I'm going to melt from his sweetness. Her reaction made me laugh, and whatever annoyance I'd felt about Isabella Thorne vanished. They say to hit a snake at its weakest point. For flirting, you have to win the heart. With this mind-reading cheat code, winning over a small Lily Davis was practically child's play. I stayed with Lily all afternoon until she took her medicine and drifted off to a peaceful sleep. Only then did I leave. Back in my own new place, right next door to her, I finally checked my phone. Dozens of unread messages from David, my overachieving assistant. Boss, Ms. Thorne from Thorne Corp just contacted me. She says she has an urgent project she wants to discuss with you in person. Boss, Ms. Thorne says she's downstairs at her office. Do you want to meet her, boss? Are you there? Ms. Thorne is still waiting. Boss, Ethan Miller didn't get out of bed today, is trending again, and the company's stock price shot up. Me. These netizens and stock traders were getting crazier by the day. My lying flat lifestyle was actually boosting the company? I quickly replied to David. Regarding Isabella Thorne, absolutely no meetings. Also, tell the PR department to put out more news about my lying flat lifestyle. If the stock keeps rising, they get double bonuses at the end of the year. David instantly replied, Understood. Boss is brilliant. After handling those minor issues, I took a shower and lay in bed, but sleep wouldn't come. My mind was full of Lily's flushed face and her adorable, quirky thoughts. I realized that I might actually be falling for her. The next morning, I woke up early, planning to make a sweet breakfast for my future wife. But when I opened my door, I saw the one person I least wanted to see, Isabella Thorne. She wore a sharp black business suit, her hair impeccably pulled back in a bun, her face still bearing that frigid, keep everyone at arm's length expression. When she saw me, her eyes flickered, a hint of awkwardness there. Ethan, we need to talk, she said, her tone imperious. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, raising an eyebrow at her. Ms. Thorne, is there anything left for us to talk about? I believe we've already called off our engagement. All I want now is to kick back and relax. I'm not interested in your career. Isabella's face paled. She clearly hadn't expected me to be so blunt. I know you're still angry with me, she said, taking a deep breath and softening her tone. I was too impulsive at the engagement party. But Ethan, the engagement between our families isn't a joke. It affects the future collaborations of both our companies. I came to see you because I wanted to get back together. I finished for her, a mocking smirk playing on my lips. Ms. Thorne, are you mistaken about something? You were the one who broke it off, and now you're the one who wants to reconcile. What do you take me for? A pet you can summon and dismiss at will? That's not what I meant. Isabella's brows knitted tightly, as if she were desperately holding something back. Then what do you mean? I pressed, stepping closer. Did you realize that your so-called Dragon King hasn't returned yet, and you can't prop up Thorne Corp on your own? Or did you discover that this good-for-nothing, wasn't as useless as you thought, so you want to pick me back up? My words were like a knife, accurately piercing Isabella's sore spot. Her face instantly turned ashen, and her body swayed slightly. How did I know? Of course I knew. I'd read the script, you naive fool. Just then, the door next door clicked open. Lily, in a cute bunny-themed pajama set, emerged, rubbing her sleepy eyes. She probably intended to take out the trash, but looked up and saw Isabella and me confronting each other. She froze. Oh my God, a dramatic confrontation. This early in the morning. Isabella also spotted Lily. Her gaze swept over Lily's childish pajamas, a flicker of disdain in her eyes. Ethan, is this your new plaything? Little girl who hasn't even grown up yet. Her tone dripped with condescending superiority. Lily's face instantly went white. She instinctively clutched the trash bag in her hand tighter. The smile vanished from my face. Ms. Thorne. I stepped forward, subtly shielding Lily behind me, my voice so cold it could form ice shards. Watch your words. Who she is none of your business. But if you dare say one more disrespectful thing to her, I guarantee Thorn Corp stock will plummet tomorrow. My threat was naked, undisguised. Isabella's expression shifted repeatedly. This was likely the first time she'd seen such a forceful side of me. In her memory, I had always been the docile, subservient simp who'd jump at her every command. She stared fixedly at me, then at Lily, who was peeking out from behind me, her eyes filled with resentment and humiliation. Ethan, you'll regret this. She hurled a threat, then turned on her heel, her high heels clicking loudly as she strode away. Her retreating figure looked utterly defeated. I watched her leave, not a single ripple in my heart. Regret? I'd only regret not transmigrating sooner to get rid of that nuisance. I turned to face Lily, who was still in a daze. She clutched a bag of trash, staring at me with wide, round eyes like a startled hamster. He stood up to the Ice Queen CEO for me. The way he protected me just now, so handsome. It was like a knight saving his maiden. I guarantee Thorn Corp stock will plummet tomorrow. Oh my God, an actual domineering CEO line in real life. So manly. I declare, from today onwards, Ethan Miller is my God. Listening to the torrent of rainbow compliments in her mind, my mood, which had been soured by Isabella, instantly brightened. I reached out and gently ruffled her hair. Scared you? Lily snapped out of it, her cheeks faintly flushed. She shook her head. Then, as if remembering something, she shoved the trash bag into my hands. Here, your breakfast. Me? Question mark. I looked down at the trash bag in my hands. Inside were a few empty milk cartons and bread wrappers. I looked back up at her, and she slammed her door shut with a bang, leaving me with only a closed door. I stood there, torn between laughter and exasperation. Was this girl shy? But her reaction was undeniably adorable. My spirits high, I carried my breakfast of love back to my own apartment. Over the next few days, Isabella Thorne didn't bother me again. My life settled back into a leisurely rhythm of gym, gourmet food, and teasing Lily. Our relationship, especially after the hero saves damsel incident, progressed by leaps and bounds. She no longer called me a brute, nor did she threaten to call the police at every turn. While outwardly she was still shy, she started proactively texting me, asking what kind of dessert I wanted that day. She even came up with a special nickname for me. My Mr. Miller. Every time she thought that in her mind, my heart would melt into a puddle. One day I was sweating out in the gym. 8-pack abs, a V-line. These were standard for a protagonist like me, and I had to maintain them. I just finished a set of bench presses, sitting up as sweat trickled down my defined muscles. I picked up my phone and saw a message from Lily. Mr. Miller, are you free tonight? My parents want to meet you. I paused at that message. Meet the parents? Already? Before I could react, Lily's second message came through. Don't get the wrong idea. It's not what you think. My mom, she heard we were neighbors from somewhere, and she insisted I invite you over for a casual dinner to thank you for taking care of me last time. If you're busy, just pretend I didn't say anything. Every word conveyed nervousness and awkwardness. I could almost picture her clutching her phone, heart pounding, face flushed. What am I doing? How could I send such an invitation? It's too sudden. Will he think I'm too forward? Will he reject me? If he rejects me, how will I ever face him again? Wah, I want to crawl into a hole. Listening to her thoughts, which were on the verge of tears, I chuckled softly. I quickly replied, I'm free. What time? Do I need to bring anything? After I sent the message, there was a long silence. Just as I started to wonder if she'd fainted from excitement, her reply finally came. 7 p.m. You just come as you are. He agreed. He's coming to my house to meet my parents. Isn't this the standard meeting the parents protocol? By my calculations, are we practically engaged? What should I wear? Should I put on makeup? Will my parents scare him away? Watching the family drama already unfolding in her mind, I couldn't suppress the curve of my lips. It seemed it was time to pay my future in-laws a visit. At 7 p.m. sharp, I rang the doorbell at Lily's house. The door was opened not by Lily, but by a gentle-looking middle-aged woman, whose eyes and brows bore a resemblance to Lily's. This must be my future mother-in-law. Hello, Mrs. Davis. I'm Ethan Miller, I said politely, presenting the thoughtfully prepared gifts, a premium tea set and several bottles of my homemade fruit wine. Lily's mom's eyes lit up when she saw me, and she warmly ushered me inside. "Oh, you must be Ethan. Come in, come in. Lily has mentioned you several times." As I stepped inside, I saw Lily standing awkwardly in the living room, her cheeks flushed, her eyes darting away, unable to meet my gaze. "He's here. He's really here. Oh my God, he looks so handsome today. That casual suit really shows off his figure. Will my dad think he's too flashy? The gifts he brought look expensive. My mom is definitely going to lecture me." On the living room sofa sat a stern-looking middle-aged man, presumably Lily's father. He was wearing reading glasses and perusing a newspaper. Hearing the commotion, he looked up, scrutinizing me from head to toe. I met his gaze calmly, neither subservient nor arrogant, and greeted him. "Good evening, sir." Lily's dad grunted in acknowledgement, then lowered his head back to his newspaper. The atmosphere was for a moment quite awkward. Lily's mom enthusiastically broke the ice. "Ethan, dear, please sit, don't just stand there. Lily, quickly, get Ethan some tea." Lily mumbled, "Oh," and darted into the kitchen like a startled rabbit. Lily's mom pressed me into sitting on the sofa, and the friendly interrogation began. "How old are you this year, Ethan? What do you do for work?" "I'm 25, and I run a small company," I answer modestly. It was actually Miller Industries, valued in the hundreds of billions. Oh, young and promising, very young and promising." Lily's mom beamed. "Lily told me you two are neighbors." "Yes, I just moved in recently. What a coincidence." Lily's mom grew more and more pleased with me, engaging me in a flurry of questions. Lily's dad, however, remained silent, occasionally casting a sharp glance from behind his newspaper. I knew this was the future father-in-law's test. I handled it flawlessly, displaying respect for my elders without losing my composure. Soon, Lily emerged with the tea. She placed the teacup in front of me, head bowed, softly saying, "Have some tea." But her hand trembled from nervousness, and the scalding hot tea splashed directly towards my hand. "Careful," I reacted quickly, grabbing her slender wrist and pulling her into my arms, simultaneously dodging the tea. The teacup clattered to the floor, shattering into pieces. Lily, meanwhile, tumbled directly into my embrace. The unique scent of her perfume instantly enveloped me. My heart skipped a beat. Lily was stunned. She lay against my chest, feeling my solid build and strong heartbeat, completely frozen. I crashed into his arms. His chest muscles are so firm. His heart is beating so fast. Hugging him in front of my parents. I can't face anyone. Lily's mom and dad were also startled by the sudden incident. Lily's mom rushed over to check. "Oh dear, were you scalded, Ethan?" I released the still-dazed Lily and shook my head. "Mrs. Davis, I'm fine." Lily's dad put down his newspaper, frowning at Lily, who was frantically trying to clean up the shattered pieces. He sternly said, "So clumsy. What kind of behavior is that?" At his shout, Lily's eyes instantly welled up. Seeing her wronged expression, my heart ached. I knelt down and gently grasped her hand, which was reaching for the shards. "Don't move, you'll cut yourself." Then I took the rag from her hand and quickly cleaned up the mess on the floor. After all that, I stood up and faced Lily's dad again, my expression serious. "Sir, Lily didn't do it on purpose. She was just nervous." I paused, my gaze softening as it met Lily's. "And besides, even if she's a little clumsy, I still find it very charming." My words stunned all three people present. Lily looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. He's speaking up for me, and he said I'm charming. In front of my dad. Wow, am I dreaming? How can there be such a wonderful man? Lily's dad looked at me, his scrutinizing gaze slowly morphing into a hint of approval. He was silent for a moment, then finally spoke. "You kid, you've got away with words." "I'm not just saying things," I said, my gaze fixed on Lily, enunciating each word. "I'm telling the truth. I like Lily, and I want to pursue her. So, I hope to have your Mrs. Davis's blessing." My direct and honest confession was like a bomb, exploding in the small living room. Lily's face was so red, it looked ready to drip blood. Lily's mom was beaming, all smiles. Lily's dad looked at me for a very long time. So long I thought he was about to get angry. Then he slowly sighed. He pulled an antique wooden box from a drawer, opened it, and inside was a jade pendant identical to mine, engraved with the character for you. Kid, do you recognize this? I looked at the pendant, understanding dawned. The main event had finally arrived. I took my yin pendant from around my neck and placed it on the table. Idol, my grandfather left it to me. He said it was a token for my future wife. Lily's dad looked at the two perfectly matching pendants, his eyes filled with a complex emotion. Your grandfather, Arthur Miller. Yes. Lily's dad let out a long sigh, as if lost in distant memories. I never thought. So many years have passed. Your grandfather and I were like brothers. We went through so much together. Back then, we joked that if we each had a boy and a girl, we'd make them family. Later, we both moved back to the city, started our own families and businesses, and lost touch. Then I heard he became very successful, and I didn't want to bother him. I never imagined our family's paths would intertwine again. He looked at me, his gaze softening considerably. Son, I don't care how big a name your family is, or what gossip is circulating out there. I just ask you one thing. Are you sincere about my Lily? I nodded without hesitation. I am. My gaze was firm as it rested on Lily. In this lifetime, I will marry no one but her. Marry no one but her. These 4 words exploded like thunder in Lily's heart. Marry no one but her. He said marry no one but her. Is he proposing to me? In front of my parents? Oh my God. Happiness came so suddenly. I'm going to faint. How do I answer? Should I say yes? But I'm so shy. Watching her inner thoughts, already planning wedding details, I fought to suppress a laugh. Lily's dad was also taken aback by my straightforward confession. He stared for a moment, then slowly nodded. All right, a good marry no one but her. Kid, I'll remember those words. If you ever dare to treat my Lily badly, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth, even if it's the last thing I do. Though his words were a threat, his tone already carried approval. I solemnly promised, Sir, don't worry, I won't give you that chance. The tense family dinner ended on a happy note. Lily's dad and mom were both very pleased with me, especially Lily's mom, who held my hand as if she wanted me to stay the night. In the end, I only managed to escape by using the excuse of not wanting to be too sudden. Lily walked me to the door. In the soft light of the hallway, her cheeks were still flushed, her eyes sparkling like they held starlight. My parents, they didn't scare you, did they? She whispered. Not at all. I shook my head, reaching out to gently pinch her cheek. Your parents are wonderful, very charming. Oh, stop it, she murmured, looking down shyly. He praised my parents charming. Well, of course, whose parents do you think they are? Watching her little display of pride, my heart completely melted. Get some rest, good night, I said softly. Good night. She said it, but made no move to close the door, just stood there, gazing at me expectantly. Why isn't he leaving yet? Is he waiting for a goodnight kiss? But I'm too scared. So shy. Maybe I should make the first move. No. A girl must be proper. Listening to her internal struggle, I found it both frustrating and amusing. What on earth was going through this girl's mind? I sighed, deciding to take matters into my own hands and end this standoff. I took a step forward. Before she could react, I leaned down and gently pressed a kiss to her forehead. The warm touch was fleeting. Good night, my little fiancé. With that, I didn't look back at her stunned expression, turned, and entered my own apartment. The moment I closed the door, I could still hear a muffled, irrepressible squeal of delight from next door. I leaned against my door, chuckling softly. Having secured my in-laws' approval and formally claimed my childhood fiancé, my relationship with Lily was thoroughly stable. Now it was time to enjoy my sweet romance and leisurely life. However, there were always those who couldn't read the room and insisted on disrupting the peace. The next day, I was in the companies. The lounge, playing a video game when David, my overachieving assistant, walked in again, his face grim. Boss, we have a problem. The Dragon King. He's back. I raised an eyebrow, my fingers not stopping their gameplay. Oh, which Dragon King? The one Ms. Thorne has been waiting for, Jake Sterling. Jake Sterling, the original novel's male lead. A classic story of a battle-hardened soldier returning, discovering his family ruined, his fiancée stolen, then embarking on a journey of revenge and triumph, ultimately reclaiming his glory and the girl. And I, Ethan Miller, was the primary antagonist who stole his fiancée and ruined his family. He's back, so what? I said nonchalantly. It's none of my business. I just want to chill out. I'm not interested in their love-hate drama. But boss, David looked troubled. The moment he returned, he went straight to Thorne Corp and publicly announced that everyone who had wronged Ms. Thorne would pay. He specifically mentioned you. David swallowed hard. He said he would bankrupt you within 3 days. My hands paused. My in-game character was swiftly taken out by the opponent. I scoffed. Bankrupt me within 3 days? What arrogance. Did he really think he was the lord of the world? Boss, do we need to do anything? David asked anxiously. Jake Sterling isn't simple. He has a powerful mercenary group overseas. No need. I wave him off, starting a new game. Just a few subordinates. What kind of waves can they make? Tell everyone downstairs to carry on, as usual. Don't pay him any mind. He's nothing but a clown. If he really dares to provoke me, I said, my eyes cold as I stare at the game screen, I don't mind letting him experience true despair prematurely. If you want to play, I'll play. I just wonder what expression you'll have when you realize everything you pride yourself on is a joke in front of me. I'm looking forward to it. Jake Sterling moved fast. The day after his return, he used his overseas connections and resources to launch attacks on Miller Industries' international operations. Suddenly, several ongoing negotiations stalled, and partners began to waver. David showed up every day with dark circles under his eyes, his expression growing more severe with each report. Boss, Jake Sterling has acquired our biggest competitor in Europe, and he's now using a low-price strategy to grab our market share. Boss, our South American raw materials supplier unilaterally tore up their contract and partnered with Jake Sterling instead. Boss, if this continues, our financial report for this quarter will look really bad. I listened to his reports, my face betraying no emotion, even feeling a slight urge to laugh. That's it. With such amateur tricks, he thinks he can bankrupt me? He really underestimates my team of overachievers. I leisurely sipped the artisanal coffee and tiramisu that Lily had thoughtfully delivered as my afternoon snack, then slowly spoke. David, you've been with me for so many years. Why are you still so timid? The business world is like a battlefield. Are you scared by such small squalls? Haven't I told you before? Professional matters should be handled by professionals. What is your profession? To help your boss solve all problems so I can relax in peace. Now, trouble has arrived. You should show your professional spirit. I don't care how you do it, whether you burn cash or poach talent. Within 3 days, I want to see that company Jake Sterling acquired disappear from the European market. As for that South American supplier, I paused, my eyes chilling. Make sure he understands the consequences of betraying Ethan Miller. David looked at me, stunned for a moment, then nodded emphatically. Yes, boss. I understand. He turned and left, his back radiating a heroic determination to work them to death. I smiled, satisfied, and continued to enjoy my afternoon tea. With such a capable team, a lying flat life was indeed this simple, unpretentious, and sometimes boring. Meanwhile, Jake Sterling and Isabella Thorne were celebrating their temporary victory. In an upscale restaurant, Isabella gazed at the spirited man across from her, her eyes filled with undisguised admiration and infatuation. Jake, you're amazing. You just got back, and already you've got Ethan Miller scrambling. Jake curled his lips into a charming, dangerous smile, clinking his red wine glass with hers. This is just the beginning. I said I'd bankrupt him within 3 days. Dare to mess with my woman, and I'll make sure he has nothing left. Isabella was utterly moved by his domineering declaration. But Ethan is, after all, she hesitated. The Miller family's position in the business world is deeply rooted. Won't doing this. Scared, Jake raised an eyebrow at her. Bella, don't worry. With me here, no one dares touch you. A mere Miller family is nothing but a paper tiger in my eyes. Once I've dealt with Ethan and reclaimed everything that's mine, I'll marry you in style. Isabella looked into his loving eyes, completely captivated. She leaned in and kissed his cheek. Jake, I believe you. They probably never dreamed that the scrambling Ethan Miller they spoke of was currently comfortably lounging on the couch in the lounge. Video calling his little fiancée while listening to his subordinates report triumphant news. Boss, that European company has been acquired by us. Their core technical team has also been poached. Boss, that South American supplier? Bankrupt. All their channels are now under our control. Boss, Jake Sterling's funding chain, which he used to target us, has been cut off. Now, he's barely able to save himself. I listened to the news from the other end of the phone, a slight smile playing on my lips. Well done. Tell the guys triple bonuses this month. Hanging up the phone, I looked at Lily's worried face on the video call. What's wrong? Why the long face? Lily bit her lip, asking softly, Mr. Miller, I saw the news. They said, your company is in trouble. That Jake Sterling, he's so mean. Why is he targeting you, Mr. Miller? Will Mr. Miller be okay? Will he go bankrupt? If he goes bankrupt, what then? Well, it's okay, I'll support him. My pastry shop doesn't make a lot, but it should be enough to support both of us. Listening to her thoughts, which were already planning how to support me, my heart felt warm and amused. I purposely put on a tired and fragile expression for the camera. Yes, Lily, I'm almost at my breaking point. I might really go bankrupt. If I become a pauper, will you still want me? My poor me act clearly broke Lily's heart. On the other end of the video, her eyes instantly welled up. Yes, of course, I will, she exclaimed without hesitation. Mr. Miller, don't be scared. Even if you lose everything, you still have me. I'll take care of you. Seeing her so flustered she was almost in tears, I finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. Silly girl, I was just teasing you. I sat up and aimed the phone camera out the window. Outside was the iconic building of Miller Industries headquarters and the bustling traffic below. Don't worry, a mere Jake Sterling can't shake my foundations. Not only will I not go bankrupt, but I'll make sure he understands that messing with me was the most foolish decision he's ever made in his life. My voice was filled with absolute confidence. Lily looked at me, stunned for a moment, then also started to laugh. I knew it. My Mr. Miller is the most amazing. Oomph. That Jake Sterling dare to bully my man? He's got another thing coming. Mr. Miller, you got this. Take down the big bad guy. Watching her adorable cheerleading, my heart softened completely. With a wife like this, what more could a man ask for? Jake Sterling, the game had just begun. 3 days passed quickly. The scene Jake Sterling envisioned, Miller Industries stock plummeting, declaring bankruptcy, never materialized. On the contrary, Miller Industries stock, amidst a flurry of negative news, rose instead of falling, even hitting several consecutive daily limits. The absurd trending topic, Ethan Miller didn't get out of bed today, remained stubbornly on top, as if the turmoil outside had nothing to do with this lying flat CEO. Jake Sterling was completely bewildered. He couldn't understand why his carefully planned thunderous attack, aimed at Ethan Miller, felt like it had hit cotton without even a ripple. He also didn't know that his proudly boasted overseas network had been quietly devoured by my team of overachievers. He was now a lone wolf, and the final straw that broke the camel's back was a charity gala. This gala, jointly organized by several leading corporations in the city, aimed to raise funds for underprivileged children in rural areas. Almost all the socialites of the upper echelon were present. As the CEO of Miller Industries, I was naturally on the guest list. Breaking my lying flat rule, I brought my little fiancée, Lily, dressed to the nines. I wore a perfectly tailored black suit, while Lily wore a pale yellow strapless gown I had specially chosen for her. The hem was adorned with delicate diamonds, sparkling under the lights. She wore light makeup, her long hair swept up, revealing her slender, fair neck and delicate collarbones. The usually soft and adorable girl next door now looked like an ethereal fairy. The moment she entered, she captured everyone's attention, including, of course, Jake Sterling and Isabella Thorne. Isabella's face instantly turned incredibly ugly when she saw the radiant Lily arm in arm with me, smiling brightly. She instinctively glanced at her own designer gown. Though expensive, it looked somewhat old-fashioned and stiff compared to Lily's lively and charming attire. Once a woman's jealousy ignited, it was hard to extinguish. Jake Sterling's eyes instantly darkened the moment he saw me. He strode purposefully towards me, Isabella following reluctantly behind him. Ethan Miller, do you even have the nerve to show your face here? Jake Sterling stood before me, looking down at me, his voice brimming with provocation. Before I could speak, Lily anxiously clutched my arm. The big bad guy is here. What does he want, mister? Miller, don't be scared. I'll protect you. I patted her hand reassuringly, then met Jake Sterling's gaze, a playful smile on my lips. Why wouldn't I have a nerve? Did you buy this place? Jake Sterling choked on my words, his face turning beet red. Ethan Miller, don't think you'll be smug for much longer. I'm telling you, your end is near, he threatened through gritted teeth. I burst out laughing, as if I'd heard the funniest joke. Mr. Sterling, do you perhaps misunderstand your own situation? Your so-called overseas forces now bear the Miller name. The funds you used to attack me have been frozen by the bank. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, those few companies your father left behind were on the verge of bankruptcy due to mismanagement, so I happened to acquire them a few days ago. With each sentence I uttered, Jake Sterling's face grew paler. By the time I finished, he was ashen, swaying precariously. No, impossible. This is impossible, he muttered, his eyes filled with disbelief and terror. You're lying to me. You must be lying to me. He suddenly lunged at me like a madman, reaching for my collar. My bodyguards immediately stepped forward and subdued him. The surrounding guests, watching this dramatic scene, wore expressions of eager amusement. Isabella Thorne was completely dumbfounded. She looked at the frenzied Jake Sterling, then at me, calm and collected, her mind a blank. She had always believed Jake Sterling was the omnipotent Dragon King, the savior who would lead her to the pinnacle. But now, this savior was crumbling before me like a clown. And the useless man she had always looked down upon, the one she had publicly dumped, had, without her knowledge, grown into someone she now had to look up to. A powerful surge of regret and jealousy engulfed her. I ignored the pathetic pair, took Lily's hand, and walked to the center of the gala. There was one important segment left for the evening, the charity auction. The highlight item was a pink diamond ring called Heart of Eternity. The starting bid was $10 million. When the host announced the auction had begun, I immediately raised my paddle. $100 million. I stated the price casually, causing a collective gasp from the entire hall. Everyone was stunned by my extravagant bid. The host was also dumbfounded for a moment before stammering, $100 million? Mr. Miller has bid $100 million. Are there any higher bids? The hall fell silent. Are you kidding? Who would spend $100 million on a ring? Crazy. Just as the host was about to bring down the gavel, an out-of-place voice rang out. I bid $100,001. It was Isabella Thorne. Her face pale, she stood up, glaring at me, her eyes filled with resentment and a touch of madness. She probably wanted to salvage some pathetic shred of dignity this way. All eyes in the room turned to us. Lily also looked at me nervously. That woman again. Why is she trying to compete with Mr. Miller? Mr. Miller will add to the bid, won't he? I looked at Isabella's face, twisted by jealousy, and smiled. I didn't raise my paddle again. Instead, I took the microphone from the host. I really like this ring, because it perfectly suits my fiancée. I turned, and under the gaze of the entire room, knelt on one knee, looking up at the utterly stunned Lily. Since Ms. Thorne enjoys adding $1 so much, I'll consider this $100 million a charitable donation. As for the ring, I pulled a velvet box from my pocket, opened it, and inside was a diamond ring even larger and more dazzling than the Heart of Eternity. This was a unique piece I had custom ordered long ago. Lily, will you marry me, and let me take care of you for the rest of our lives? My voice, amplified by the microphone, resonated clearly throughout the entire ballroom. Time, at this moment, seemed to stand still. All eyes were fixed on Lily and me. Lily covered her mouth, her eyes instantly filling with tears. She looked at me on one knee, at the brilliant diamond ring in my hand, her mind a blank save for 3 words frantically repeating. Yes, yes, yes. Her thoughts were the sweetest music to my ears. I looked at her, my eyes filled with a tenderness that could melt glaciers. Under the gaze and cheers of all the guests, Lily, tears streaming down her face, nodded vigorously. "I will," she choked out. I smiled, stood up, and carefully slid the ring onto her ring finger. Not too big, not too small, just right. I pulled her into my embrace and whispered in her ear, "Wife, from today on, you're officially trapped with me." Lily buried her face in my chest, laughing and crying at the same time. Thunderous applause and shouts of congratulations erupted in the ballroom. The younger women watching were practically screaming with excitement. "Oh my God, so romantic. A public proposal. And by Ethan Miller. I'm so jealous. Who is that girl? She's so lucky." Meanwhile, Isabella Thorne and Jake Sterling, the backdrop to this romantic proposal, became the most pathetic joke. Isabella watched us embrace, saw the diamond ring on Lily's hand, 100 times more dazzling than the heart of eternity, and then looked at the joke she had just impulsively bought for $100 million. She felt a dizzying sensation. She had lost, utterly and completely defeated, left with nothing. Regret, jealousy, resentment, all intertwined, pushing her to the brink of collapse. She finally understood how foolish her decision to break off the engagement had been. She had pushed away the man who loved her most, and who was also the most powerful in this world. And the one she had chosen was merely a self-important clown. Alas, there was no turning back. She could only watch me spoil another girl rotten, while she herself became the laughingstock in everyone's eyes. As for Jake Sterling, after witnessing my grand proposal and my casual $100 million charitable donation, his last shred of psychological defense completely crumbled. He was dragged out of the ballroom by security like a dead dog. What awaited him was endless debt and legal repercussions. The whole farce finally ended in the most satisfying web novel fashion. News of Lily's and my engagement spread throughout the business world and the internet the very next day. Terms like Ethan Miller proposal, $100 million charity, and fairy tale romance dominated the trending topics across all platforms. Miller Industries stock price once again surged. I officially cemented my title as the lying flat stock god. As for me, I fully embarked on my leisurely life. The company was handled by my team of overachievers. My daily life simply revolved around my precious wife. We explored new dessert recipes together, traveled the world to taste gourmet food, and snuggled on the couch watching silly movies. She would sleep on my abs, steal kisses, and call me Mr. Miller in her soft, sweet voice. And I, in turn, would spend my entire life responding to her love. Occasionally, I would see that disheveled figure on a street corner. Isabella Thorne. She had lost Thorne Corp, lost all her glory, and become the most ordinary person. Each time she saw Lily and me, hand in hand, smiling happily, she would frantically lower her head and flee in disarray. I knew she regretted it, but what did that have to do with me? In my world, the sun was just right, the breeze was gentle, and by my side stood the only girl I deeply loved. That was enough. And